We getting into the real questions now. Hi guys, my name is Emelia Richter and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to Google search some real estate questions and answer them on camera and just have some fun with it because there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to real estate. So I thought this would be a very educational / fun thing to do. So I want to start off with buying real estate and then I want to get into getting into real estate. Let's start off with the first one. Is buying a house worth it? And I will say that is up to you. That is up to you and your lifestyle to determine it. But in my biased opinion, I will 100% say yes. I had an apartment when I first moved out of my parents' house. I had an apartment, and I will never in my life get an apartment again or live in a facility that I don't potentially own, or the money that I'm putting towards it doesn't come back to me somehow. I don't think I would do that ever again. But is it worth it? It's up to you and your lifestyle. So I know that we have all seen that meme that says renting a house $1,800 or renting an apartment $1,800 or whatever the price was, and buying a house or owning a home was like, the mortgage was like $800 a month. What that meme doesn't include is that you're upkeeping your house. When you live in an apartment, you don't have to mow the lawn, you don't have to shovel snow, you don't have to do all that. Owning a home comes with responsibility that a lot of people just are not interested in or don't want to partake in. So that's why it makes sense for them to rent. Even if it is a house, if your furnace goes out in the middle of the winter and it's going to cost $1,800 for the parts, and then the labor for the HVAC guy to come out, is that something that you possibly want to take care of? Some people just don't, and that's why they rent. If the furnace breaks down, I'm calling the landlord, and they better have a new furnace in tomorrow. That's why some people just, they want to rent. There's nothing negative about it. It's just owning a home, there's a pride that comes with it. There's an achievement, there's an investment. Even if you don't know how to invest in stocks, invest in real estate, that is your biggest purchase and your biggest investment. And to me, it's one of the biggest responsibilities, besides obviously having a child and a family, that you take on. Is buying a house a good investment? A tax write-off? So technically owning a home is a tax write-off. So that is a really good question. If you are a rental property owner, if you own some rental properties, there's huge tax deductions and stuff like that you can do 100%. But if you own just one home that you live in, your property taxes, depending on where you live, are deductible. So it depends on who your tax person is. I do not recommend just walking into somewhere, sorry to put you guys on the chopping block, H&R Block, and just giving them your social security number and your W-2s and stuff like that and say, do my taxes. I always, if you are somebody who is about your money, okay, I will always advise that you have somebody who does your taxes that you can sit down with and go through everything. They know your finances personally. This person is looking at how much you make a year and basically setting you up for the rest of the year. It doesn't get any more personal than that. So I definitely recommend that whoever does your taxes is somebody that you can sit down and have a conversation with and say, okay, this is what I'd like to get done, this is this is what's going on in my life, I always would recommend that. But yes, your property taxes are a tax write-off, as well as the income for some rental home owners. Is buying a house cheaper than renting? It depends. Is buying a house a good idea? Is buying a house worth it? Reddit. Is buying a house stressful? Okay, So one of the videos that I'm doing this dropping next week is about the process of buying a house, and I will go in depth more about that. But buying a house to some people is 110% stressful, 100%, because it is one of the biggest life decisions that you are going to make. And for people who, even for people who have done it, bought and sold homes, and this is like their third home they're living in, it's still a stressful process. Just moving apartments is so stressful. What do you think about the process of buying a whole entire house? It's for a lot of people it's really stressful, but that's why you are supposed to get yourself a good team, in the sense of a real estate agent, a closing company. Sometimes you don't have any choice in that, but you know, buying and selling a house is definitely stressful, I would say, because it's a lot going on. It's just decisions to be made. Is buying a house included in the GDP? That's funny. I'm gonna click that one and see what that says. Okay, buying a house in a recession. I mean, that's not really a question. It does happen. Buying a house during a recession, buying a house with bad credit. It is possible, and like I said, I have a video dropping next week that will go in more in depth. Buying a house during coronavirus. There's a house for sale, not the next door neighbors, but the next door neighbors. And I tell you, there's like 15 people looking at that house every single day. It's crazy. Like, the entire street will be filled with cars. And you're like, who's having a party? They're just going to look at the house. The market is hot in Columbus, Ohio, so it's definitely possible. Buying a house with furniture included. In some states, this is like a norm, but you know, sometimes if it's staged, you can ask for like a piece of the furniture and they'll sell it to you. But it is possible, but not 9 times out of 10. Not always. What do I need to do before buying a house? That's going to be covered next week. How long should you give yourself to buy a house? Oh, that's a great question. Okay, we getting into the real questions now. I think it took us about 2 years. I always exaggerate that number because I felt like it was forever, but I think it took us about a year to get into this house. And once you find a house, it only takes you about, let's say, 2 to 3 45 to 60 days to close, depending on your closing company, your title company, your lender, depending on all that. But usually it takes about 45 to 60 days to close once you find a house and you're in contract and everything is great. But while you're looking, I mean, honestly, I just give yourself some time. One thing you don't want to do is rush into buying a house, because it might look great on the outside, but you are in the house for 2 months and, you know, the pipes are bursting and everything is leaking. You want to take your time and make sure that it is exactly what you want. Actually, I shouldn't say that as an agent. I'm setting up other agents for failure. I am so sorry, guys. I shouldn't say it's exactly what you want. Your agent is going to advise you on how the market is going, but we always say, like, you know, you want 10 things, you're gonna get 7 usually, and you should be able to be willing to compromise too. Okay, is it easy to buy a house for the first time? It is stressful, but it can be made easy to buy a house for the first time. What is the cheapest way to buy a house? We're gonna touch on all this next week. So, okay, should I rent before I buy a house? So a lot of people obviously live somewhere before they move into a different place. Selling a home you live in currently to be able to buy a house, usually your agent will write that into the contract, will write that as a requirement on the MLS. So when somebody is coming in to buy your house, they know that you're not moving until your house is sold or built or whatever. When you're selling your home to move into another home that you're buying, that's pretty easy to do. It's stressful, but it is possible. If you're renting a house or an apartment before you move, a lot of people, what I have seen get done is that they will, if their lease expires, they will be able to do month to month and then leave, or they'll talk to their apartment complex and tell them that they're going to sign a lease, but they want to break it and then just pay the penalty. Whichever way floats your boat. What do I do before I buy a house? Should I travel before I buy a house? What does that mean? Should I buy a house before Brexit? I'm guessing this is for the English people. Can I buy a house before selling mine? Yes, you can. Okay, 8 home buying myths you need to move past. You need to make a 20% down payment. This all will get covered, but really quick, I think I know where this myth came from, and it's actually really not a myth, it's a real thing. For conventional loans, you can put up to or even past 20% down. And that's where that came from. It's from a conventional loan. The down payment for a conventional loan can also be 3.5%. Interest rates are on the rise. They're actually at an all-time low. You have to pay your student loans first. You don't. Your credit score needs to be perfect. It doesn't, but it helps. The better credit score you have, the better interest rates you have. And that's for everything. Credit card, car loans, whatever. All lenders are the same. They are not. Wow, they are not. The listing price is just a suggestion. Yo, that's funny. It is definitely not a suggestion. It is a real valid thing. I mean, like when you sit down with a listing agent and you say, okay, I want to list my house for $1 million and it's only worth $500,000, they're definitely going to advise you and show you how we come up with the number of $500,000 of what your home is worth. If you still want to put it up for $1 million and the agent wants to go along with you still, some people will just walk away like, you're unrealistic, I don't have time for this, this is not a real sale, it's not gonna happen, so I don't have time to waste. But some people will just, okay, if that's what you want to do, we'll do it. So you'll list the house for $1 million, and when it doesn't sell, or people are coming back with offers of $500,000, I've never seen anything that crazy, by the way. Let's be realistic. Okay, your house is worth $250, you put it on the market for $280, so you will get offers. People will put in offers for the $250 because their agents are advising them like, girl, this house is worth $250, let's put in $250 and see what they say. Most of the time they get asking price because the market is hot, whatever the situation is, but it's definitely not a suggestion. It is not. Fall and winter are bad times to buy. I thought the same thing. I'm gonna be honest, I really thought the same thing, because I'm like, who in the world would want to move in the middle of dead winter? Until I did it. Until I did it. It just, life happens. You need to move, and that doesn't stop people from looking. If I'm looking to buy a house and I'm on Zillow every day and this house is exactly what I want at the price point, why wouldn't I jump at the opportunity just because it's winter? It's a myth. Choose only a 30 fixed year mortgage. That's just not everybody's cup of tea. Some people can afford to pay it within 15, or they have a plan to be able to pay it off in 15. Cash buyers always win. I'm not even going to say any. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Susie and we're bum rushing Barbara, and Barbara is selling her house, and I'm coming with cash. Susie's coming with a loan. At the end of the day, she's still going to get the money. The bank is still going to pay her with the loan. It doesn't matter. Real estate is always a safe investment. Child, 2008 and 2000, not gonna tell you, it's not always a safe investment. Buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. A house inspection is optional. Oh no! Unless it's an investment property that, you know, is such a good deal that you don't care, you're just gonna take. It's not optional, honey. Please hear me when I say, if you're going to buy a house, sign up for all the inspections possible. Because I know, like, some people skip on radon, some people skip on I know that when we were buying a foreclosed property, the bank, it's a foreclosure. So whatever we came back, the bank wasn't gonna fix it, but we still wanted to know what we were getting into. So we did all the tests. I mean, please do it. Start looking for homes in the spring. Bad advice, because that's when the housing market is hot. You're more likely to pay higher in the skip the buyer's agent and go straight to the internet. I don't know why you would do that, because an agent, as a buyer, the agent will look out for your best interest, and it has nothing to do with money. You know why? Because you don't pay us. The seller pays us. So if we find you a house, is the only time that we get paid. So why wouldn't we want the best for you when you're a buyer? When you're a seller, I can see it. I can see why a lot of people do like for sale by owners and stuff like that, blah blah blah. But as a buyer, it makes no sense too. Your accepted offer is set in stone. No, not really. Put in an offer, they accept it, and you do an inspection, and you know things are wrong. It's not set in stone. You can go back and say, actually, your ceiling is leaking. I want $5,000 off the price. It's not set in stone. Pre-qualifications means an automatic loan. No, and that's why a lot of agents will not work with people if they only have a pre-qualification. They want them to do the extra step to actually find out how much you're really qualified for, because you have no idea how many times people go to the closing table and they can't afford a house that they were pre-qualified for. So you can be pre-qualified for $200,000, but once you turn in all your paperwork, your bank statements, your W-2s, and you know everything, all your money paperwork, you can only actually afford $150,000. So now you got to start the search all over again. Buyers without kids don't need to pay attention to schools. That's a myth, because what if then I start having children or grandchildren come and stay, you know? No. And also schools, the school districts and school areas also determine the kind of neighborhood you're in. So even if you're never going to see a child in your home, it still determines the type of neighborhood and the type of, you know, place that your house would be located. Is getting into real estate worth it? It depends. Is getting into real estate easy? It depends. What route are you going? There's so much to do in real estate, honestly. You could be a broker, you could be an agent, you could be a lender, there's so many things in real estate that you can get into. So it depends if it's easy. It depends if it's a good idea. Is it really like being a realtor? Depends. Looking to get my real estate license. Is it worth it? Okay, I'm just gonna say it's not a walk in the park, as you know it's made to seem. It's made to seem like a get rich, I don't want to say scheme or scam, or it's a way to get rich quick. It's a lot of hard work. There's tens and thousands of agents in Columbus. What makes you special from Billy Bob Joe? And I'm sure that right now I'm talking, you can tell me you know at least one realtor. What makes somebody that I've never met different from somebody that I do know and maybe might want to work with? You know, it's a lot of hard work in the sense that you have to market yourself, you have to be knowledgeable, people would have to work with you. It's a referral business. I worked with Susie. Susie liked how I work and recommended me to her friend Becky, and that's how the business goes. You can't say I'm going to get my license and expect the business to pour in, child, because you are in for a rude awakening. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's hard work. It's really hard. Ooh, do most real estate agents fail? I have told you guys this before, and I'm going to say it again. One of the first statistics when I sat in like my second day of class in real estate school was, I forget the number. I've said it before to you guys though, so I don't want to lie. I think it was like 65 or 75% of you guys will not be agents in 2 years because it's that hard. So we are a room full of 10 people. About 6 or 7 of us will not exist in 2 years because it was that hard. But the 6 or 7 of us that left the game were 100% replaced by double those people. So it's ever changing. Do most real estate agents fail? I would have to say yes. What percentage do most realtors charge? I'm gonna be honest, I thought the base price at the beginning was 3% until I found out that people in my office, my old office, were charging 6% or 8%, and it was like at our discretion on how much we want to charge. So the base price is 3%. People go lower, but then you're losing money because you have to pay your brokerage and fees and stuff like that. But the base price is 3%, but you can go up as high as you want. But your client has to sign off that, yes, I want to pay you 8%, I want to pay you 10%. Is it okay to use multiple real estate agents? Do you want to die? Do you want to make it alive? A lot of real estate agents are, if you're a seasoned real estate agent, this will never happen to you. But if you are a new agent, I'm sure this is definitely going to happen to you, where somebody's agent is not available on the weekend to take them to go take a look at a house. So they'll just call around somebody on the internet and have you go take a look at the have you take them to go look at a house, and then you'll never hear from them again. They'll be dodging your phone calls and stuff like that because they really have an agent who just wasn't available to them at the moment. You people, you need to be careful because we work on 100% commission. If you're gonna waste my time on my weekend that I'm, probably taking away from something, and my gas, premium gas ain't cheap, to take me out to somewhere and not fully committing or not intending to commit, it's actually really cruel to do that. And legally there's no way that you could do that, because when you get with an agent, the first thing that a lot of agents make you do is sign an exclusivity agreement that they're your agent and they're representing you. So if you want to break that agreement, it has to also be in writing. So you can get another agent and that agent can do all the work, but when it goes to the closing table, the first agent that you actually sign paperwork with, if you did not separate or terminate the relationship, they get the commission. I don't make the rules. How much is closing costs in Ohio? It depends, but it's around $2,000 to $3,000. How long is real estate school in Ohio? It depends on where you're going. And I've already touched about this in previous videos. What does a realtor make off selling a house? It depends on how much the house costs. Whatever it is, you do 3%, 4%, 5% of that. Who pays closing costs in Ohio? 9 times out of 10, the seller pays closing costs in Ohio. What is the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor? It's the same thing. So yeah, we're gonna end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.